to shock the world here.
I'm calling for an open tryout. If anyone is watching this, I'm calling for an open tryout. I got a year of eligibility left.
Anthony, where is home for you?
Home is Medway.
That's wrong.
All right, I hear what you're saying, but I'm just have to disagree.
While we were in class this morning, I was watching his mixtape, and this guy catches and shoots from anywhere.
Are you ready for some debate? Because Bobcat Breakdown starts right now.
Welcome to another edition of Bobcat Breakdown. I'm Zach Taranko alongside my two analysts, Beckett Calkins and Brady Mullen. Guys, how are we feeling about tonight's debate?
I'm feeling great. I'm ready to get into it, and I'm excited to see this guy across the desk from me.
Got to be honest, I'm excited too. Beckett's a lot of talk. We'll see if he backs it up today.
Yeah, it sounds like you two are ready to get the debate going. So let's jump right in. The fall season at Quinnipiac is in full swing as the women's soccer team is already a third of the way through the regular season. With our non-conference games completed, how confident are you in the team going into MAC play? Brady, just start us off.
Gladly. Beckett, let me ask you this. Where were you October 15th, 2022?
I was right here at Quinnipiac, Brady. You weren't.
But do you remember specifically what you were doing that day?
I can't.
I don't think so. It was a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
Before
you committed to this very school?
That was the last time the Bobcats lost a MAC game. If you're not confident in this team going into MAC play, I don't know what you're thinking, because it's been 2 years almost where they haven't lost a MAC game. Give me some reasoning why you shouldn't have faith in them.
I think that you should have faith in them, right? I think you should be cautiously confident, fairly confident with this team. Like you mentioned, this is a perennial MAC powerhouse, right? And their head coach is a leader that knows how to win this conference. He knows how to get it done. They just beat Sacred Heart pretty handily. Sacred Heart was the preseason number 5 team. That is a potential MAC playoff team in their first year in the conference, and the Bobcats did it easily. They out-corner kicked them 13-0. Didn't even surrender a corner kick to the Pioneers. Shots on goal were 10-3 in favor of the Bobcats. It was a wire-to-wire win for Quinnipiac, and it could have been even worse than the score suggested.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And don't get me wrong, if you look at these non-conference games, they were struggling in the beginning. But that Stonehill game, it proved that not every game is a given. They lost 1-0. That lit a fire that I feel like can't be put out.
Well, Brady, the problem is not every game is a given, right? But you look at a couple other competitors in the MAC, specifically in-state rival Fairfield. I mean, Canisius could be a potential team to look out for, but I have to look at Fairfield if I'm playing devil's advocate here and saying the Bobcats will struggle in MAC play. I believe that they'll be pretty successful, but Fairfield, right now, they're 6-1, and their only loss is to number 24, Texas A&M. That is a SEC powerhouse in the Aggies, and Fairfield is walking all over MAC opponents. A 5-1 win over Rider, a 7-1 win over Iona. Sure, maybe those two teams aren't quite the same caliber as Sacred Heart, but that's two really, really solid wins for Fairfield in a hot start to their early season.
That is a great start, some great points there, guys. Let's move on to the men's team. So far this season, the men's soccer team has been hot and cold when it comes to their play in the offensive third. With MAC games on the horizon, what do you think the team's main issue is? Beckett, you'll go first for this one.
Yeah, Brady, I think there's one issue, and I think it's the kind of lack of playmaking up front for the Bobcats, but I think everything starts with defense. And there's been a few key misplays on their own end that has caused them to struggle getting it to the offensive end, right? More pressure on the defense leads to less opportunities for the offense. The team of 2022 and 2023, that's passes, right? All the key members are gone. David Brisedo, Tomas Vicula, Alexander Sterngard, Brog Austin, they've all left Hamden sometime in the last 2 years. And this is a team that struggled to find their offensive footing last year. They've kind of been searching for offensive answers since that loss to Vermont in the NCAA tournament in 2022.
Two questions. I'm shocked we're agreeing back-to-back. But being consistent in the offensive third and creating those dangerous opportunities, correct me if you disagree, but I feel like they're finding themselves with chances to score, but they're not necessarily capitalizing on them. Outside of CCSU, they have only scored 3 goals in 5 games. That's not going to win soccer games, and it shows.
Well, CCSU, obviously, I am agreeing with you on this point in the fact CCSU is just not a quality soccer program. Just a few years ago, they went winless for the entire season. They somehow beat the Bobcats last season in the 90th minute, and I think that was a little bit of what fueled the Bobcats' mindset against them, scoring 5 goals in the first 45 minutes. I also think a little bit of the struggles for the Bobcats, it's obviously different personnel. They're trying to get comfortable still. They're trying to adapt. They have a really strong midfield. Guys like Philip Kangman, Alex Miller, Drew Seguro, the captain, Noe Cabezas. They've been really, really good. And a first year that's stepping up for them is William Holland, kind of playing the forward, like attacking position for the Bobcats. He's really earned the trust of Eric DaCosta, trying to fill the shoes of past Bobcats. But like I said, Brady, everything starts with defense, and especially with TJ Wilder going down, the Bobcats need people to step up on that end, and I think that's what's going to lead the Bobcats to potentially more offensive success.
And I agree with everything starts with defense, but I think that they're doing all right on the defensive end. But if you look at their stats, which you brought up, but you forgot one that I like the most, 32 corner kicks for this team so far this season. How many goals, Beckett? How many goals?
I'm going to go with 1.
Correct. That is not.
I believe we'll see that
That's
goal later
not
on
good.
today.
I hope we will, but
Yeah.
It was a good one.
it was great.
Some great points again, guys. Let's move on. In the men's team most recent game against LaSalle, head coach Eric DaCosta was forced to play more of his players due to the extreme heat. The extra substitutions seemed to affect the team's chemistry late in the game. Looking ahead, what players should Eric DaCosta put more trust in? Brady, what do you have for this one?
Now, I'm at a bit of a disadvantage here. Beckett beat reports for them. I beat report for women's soccer, but
He's
I'm
gonna
take a stab at
he's
this
gonna
for
know
sure.
a lot. Yep.
Noé Cabezas and Philip Kangman. I mean, it's known that DaCosta has trust in them, right?
Yep.
But here's someone he needs to put trust in. Benjamin Telly. Maximum 51 minutes this season. A goal versus CCSU, 5 total shots in the last 2 games. And as we just talked about, they need more on the offensive third. They're getting the opportunities, but they're not succeeding with those opportunities. I feel that he is someone to look forward to for great production coming off the bench, and DaCosta could look at him in the future.
Yeah, Brady, Tella is absolutely a fantastic pick. He's been great in limited playing time on the pitch during his first year in Hamden. But like I said before, Brady, come on. Everything starts with defense. Gustav Rosengren, a guy who was kind of up and down last season for Quinnipiac, has been really, really, really good for the Bobcats on the defensive side of the ball in extended time on the pitch this season. He's just been making better tactical decisions. He's been much smarter. He seems like he's in better shape than he was just a season ago. I think people kind of forget that he just transferred in last season, and he was all the way in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's been a little bit of adjustment for Rosengren, but he seems to be acclimated now.
It's definitely colder up here than Oklahoma, but you keep bringing up defense. Beckett, you can't win if you don't score. I mean, let's talk about that. So what if they shut him out? If the Bobcats have 0, that's a tie. That's not a win.
Brady, if the Bobcats
If they're fine with tying,
if
that's
the
fine.
Bobcats
That's fine.
recorded
I just
draws,
personally
if the
like
Bobcats
to win.
recorded draws in every game last season, they would have made the MAC playoffs.
Okay, fair enough. But what looks better?
I know what looks better. I'm talking smart soccer. I think this question is a no-brainer, and especially because of the injury to TJ Wilder, Eric DaCosta has to find someone on the back line that he puts more trust in, right? They've got guys like João Pinto. They've got guys like Luke Schierenbeck, but Gustav Rosengren came in the 20th minute of the last game, and he was fantastic throughout coming in for Wilder. He's earning the trust of Eric DaCosta, and I think there's no doubt about it.
I don't know if we'll see eye to eye on this one, but
We've got a good debate so far, but unfortunately we have to take our first commercial break of the show. Coming up after the break, Brady and Beckett will break down their top soccer plays so far this season. We'll be right back.
Have you ever helped a fellow veteran?
Yes. I do my best reaching out to my brothers and sisters in arms.
Have you ever asked for help yourself?
Most of us, we're not gonna admit that we need to help.
You don't have someone to kind of help you guide those thoughts. It can be really bad.
It's just a beautiful space when someone can trust you and say, listen, I need help.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero. on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
We're back on Bobcat Breakdown, and it's time for the two of you to give us your top 3 soccer plays so far through non-conference play. We'll have you guys alternate plays as men's and women's soccer beat reporters respectively. You each will give your top 3 plays. So Beckett, let's start us off with your number 3 play on your list for men's soccer. What is it?
Yeah, this is a fantastic play, and Brady referenced it earlier. It's their 1 goal on a corner kick this season. Alex Miller plays a beautiful ball into João Pinto. Pinto gets up and knocks it in with his noggin to the back of the net. Just a beautiful finish from Pinto on a perfect ball from the left foot of the Bobcats midfielder, sporting number 11 there in the corner. That's just a great goal, Brady.
Yeah, but sorry.
No, that is a great play, a great header to start us off. What's your number 3 play, Brady?
I'm eager about it.
Yeah,
Now,
of course.
You just talked about a lot of defense, right? Now let's look at a defensive play. Sofia Los Pinoso playing Hofstra. They're up 1-0. She's going to swat it down, and that just helps the Bobcats continue their momentum for that game. Granted, did they tie? Yeah, but you're fine with ties, right, Beckett? So we're fine with that. But if you see her get up there, that could be Shaq. I'm getting resemblance of it. That's just a great play.
2 really good number 3 plays, Beckett. Number 2 on your list, what is it?
Yeah, real quick before we get to number 2, Brady, number 3, let it be known that was a game-tying goal by João Pinto.
Okay.
Number 2, it's going to be a beautiful ball by Alex Miller into Drew Seguro. A perfect touch there by Seguro to put it to the back of the net against the Columbia Lions. Seguro would celebrate. That would be the Bobcats' first goal of the season. Miller again with a perfect feed, setting up another Bobcats goal. And Drew Seguro just waiting, playing it patiently, and putting it past the Lions goalkeeper. Brady, can't beat that.
Yeah, Seguro's, that goal's a good one. Brady, what do you got at number 2?
Well, actually, I can. Let's take a look at this Courtney Chokol goal. Madison Alice from a mile away, might I add, hits Caroline Matizak. She could be selfish here, rip a shot, but no, she's going to find Chokol across the middle. That's fundamental soccer. That's sharing the ball, builds team chemistry, and they're scoring the ball, Beckett. What more do you want out of a play than that?
Yeah. Great points
Yes,
there.
thank you, Zach.
Yeah.
Well, Brady, can you say SportsCenter top 10? Because that's what I've got here for my number 1 overall play on this season. Brady, I don't know if you know how to ride a bike, but Noe Cabezas sure does as he nets the bicycle kick there against the CCSU Blue Devils. That is by far the number 1 play that we'll see probably all season from any fall sport. That is a fantastic finish. Cabezas didn't even know he could get up that high. His teammates were kind of egging him on about that finish.
Tough one to match up against. Brady, give us your number 1 play.
Well, you must not have seen this play because I'm quite frankly more impressed. By the way, I can ride a bike. Milena Bronco running down the sideline here, and she makes her defender touch the earth. She doesn't need to touch the earth herself. She's going to do a little Harry Potter action. Don't look at that missed goal right there. But she's going to make her touch the earth. Let's look at this replay here. A little fast footwork. I know your feet don't move that fast, Beckett.
Brady, that's all flash, no cash. She didn't net it in the back of the net. That's not even a goal,
What are you doing
Brady.
pulling out rhymes,
Brady,
Beckett?
that's like a crossover with a missed layup at the end.
All right, guys. So after seeing all of those plays, is the men's number 1 or the women's number 1 the real top play?
Zach, which one went in the back of the net?
That
Which
was
a
men's
goal?
soccer. Brady, you got any
I can
points?
do the bicycle kick. Give me enough tries, but I can't make a defender.
Brady,
touch the
anyone can miss a goal. Anyone can go zigzag.
I
and
didn't
shoot
talk
into
about
the side
missing
of
the goal,
net.
Beckett. I talked about the shiftiness of Blanco.
Hey, I care about the finish. I care about the outcome.
I thought you were only fine with ties, Beckett.
Oh, trust me. I love a good tie, Brady. But Noe Cabezas back of the net. Bobcats won that game 5-1. That's an offensive explosion. No struggle from the offense.
You know, Brady, I really thought she was really shifty with those moves. I thought it was a great play, but I got to agree with Beckett on this one. The bicycle kick really was that sweet spot. It was just a beautiful kick, and, on SportsCenter. That's just...
Only one of them made it to you.
Bobcat Breakdown is a little more...
It's SportsCenter.
Just saying.
All right. Well, that's all we have for that segment, but we have to take our second commercial break of the night. But when we return, we will get into some field hockey debates, so don't go anywhere.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right?
It's comfortable.
So how's civilian life treating you?
It's fine.
When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because I felt like a failure. And then I realized, like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine, but if you're not, it's okay.
Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
I debate all day. It's what I do. But there are some things that are undebatable, like your mental health. I was in a dark place when my brother passed away in a car accident. I was depressed in ways I never imagined. I reached out, and my sisters came, my pastor, my therapist. They helped me get through it. I found that the more I spoke up, the healthier my mind became. When you love your mind, you can go so much further. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. I'm your host, Zach Tarenko, alongside Becca Calkins and Brady Mullen. Before we jump back into the debate, let's take a look at the QBSN Calls of the Week.
As LaSalle looks to get their first touch on it, it's Toby Osoba, shot on net.
Calbea puts it into play. Escoyes has it, steps inside the circle, shoots, and she scores her fourth of the afternoon. She puts it past Gardner and extends the Bobcat lead to 6-0. Brower inbounds it, Pompeo sends it to Escoyes, back to Pompeo. Pompeo shoots, and she scores!
We'll see if the Sharks can respond, but right now the Bobcats looking for more. It's Kupo, plays it ahead, Chokol running onto this one. She's in alone, she scores!
Pompeo looks to add to the score. She shoots, and she buries one for the Bobcats.
Chokol working around 3 Shark defenders. Plays it up, Lyon, a shot on the ground, and she finds the back of the net. Off the post and in, Tally Lyon makes it 3-0 Bobcat.
The field hockey team was on fire in the last few games, scoring 9 goals this weekend, some of which you just saw in the QBSN segment. Francisca Escoyes scored 6 of those 9 goals and is having a noteworthy season up to this point. Is she the new staple of Quinnipiac field hockey? Beckett, why don't you start us off?
She's had a fantastic start to her young career in Hamden. The problem is, it's been 1 season, it's been 6 games. Sure, she had a fantastic weekend. She's not the staple yet. Brady, how can you consider her the staple when she's been here not even 1 season?
Before I get angry, if she's not your staple, who is?
Brady, who do you think of when you think of Quinnipiac field hockey?
Escoyes.
Brady, you're showing your age here. You're a little young for this debate. It's Stella Titmeyer, right? She's not here anymore, but she is absolutely the staple of Quinnipiac field hockey. Brady, 14 goals.
We're talking about alumni.
20 assists, 48 points. All right, who's your staple?
I just told you, it's Escoyes.
Why?
100%, by the way. 15 points in 6 games. Some players are happy to have 15 points a season. Lucia Pompeo has had 16 last season, and you think of her as a star player on the team. Escoyes already has 15, 6 games in, Beckett. Can it get better than that? And let me add one more thing. She's doing that as a defender, Beckett, a defender. And you're pulling out a staple who's someone who's no longer on the team. She graduated.
Brady,
Becky.
You're
saying I'm young?
I
You're living in the past.
appreciate the Lucia Pompeo one. I believe that if you're going to say it has to be someone from the team, Lucia Pompeo is the pick right now because she's been the starter majority of her 4 years, and she has been fantastic in all 4 of those years, getting better in each one. Escoyas has the potential to be a staple, but how can you call her a staple if she has barely played 1 season with the Bobcats?
Do I got to repeat myself, Beckett? Pompeo, 16 points last season. Escoyas, 15 in 6 games, Beckett. You're too busy going to the future, to the past. Are you Marty McFly? I don't understand. Because we're talking about right now, the present. The time is now. It's Escoyas.
The time is now, Brady, but the staple is not yet there for the Quinnipiac field hockey team. It is not Escoyas. That's like saying someone like Alex Irizarry, a transfer from Maryland, is going to be the staple of Quinnipiac baseball because he's had a strong spring. He hasn't even played for the team yet, right? Escoyas has only played a couple games in Hampton. You're ready to give her the MVP treatment already? Come on.
You just compared one player who's in season versus one player who is still not in season. So I don't know how that's correlating in your mind right
and
there.
Somehow they have the more similar experience than someone like Titmeyer.
As a defender, Beckett. As a defender.
Well, you don't like defense. You only like offense, right? Doesn't defense lead to championships?
Didn't I talk about Los Pinoza with the SWAT?
Yeah.
Just
saying. You guys have some great reasoning. You know, I do agree that Escoyas has had a great season so far. I do agree with Beckett that we can't really put that MVP status on her just yet. Let's give her a little more time. I do think she's going to sprout into that staple player, but, you know, there's some good points from both sides. But let's move into volleyball. The volleyball team was dealt a massive blow when Ginevra Giovagnoni, now out with a season injury. Who on the team do you think will fill her role for the rest of the season? Brady, you go first.
Elena Giacomini, no doubt. She reminds me of Ariana Diaz, someone who I would call a staple, but no longer because she's graduated, Beckett. But she was the glue of this team for the last 5 seasons. And let's take a look at these numbers. 10 matches so far for Giacomini, 30 in the season in total. Kills, 137 for Giacomini so far this season. Diaz averaged 213.6 over her career. 137, a third through the season. In each season, Diaz averaged 213. I'm not that great at math, Beckett, but I know that means she's on pace to go ahead of Diaz.
Brady, I love the fact that you bring in Ariana Diaz because I do think she's probably the staple of Quinnipiac women's volleyball. The thing
used to be, like I said.
The thing is, Brady, Diaz was not in this question at all, and now you're just comparing players here who don't even play here anymore, Brady. We just talked about that. Ginevra Giovagnoni, a fantastic player. Season-ending injury, one player is not going to be able to step up and fill her shoes, but one player who I think her stock is rising is Leilani Kajusta. She has been so good in her time here, and she's grown so much. She's one of the more versatile players on the team, and if the team needs her to block, she'll block. She can hit the ball. She can play all over the place, and that is what they're missing with Giovagnoni. She's someone who will do everything for the team. Justa bursts onto the scene in her first year in Hamden, kind of earning the trust of head coach Kyle Robinson, and she shined when given the opportunity last year. I like players who have high potential, and this is a player in Kai Justa that could be fantastic for the Bobcats given an extended opportunity. I know you like numbers, you're not good at math, but I'll lay it all out for you, Brady. Look at the Bobcats' first match this past weekend against Navy. Justa recorded a season-high 3 aces to go along with 16.5 points. No one's going to fill Giovagnoni's shoes, but that's going to surely help out.
Those are some great points. Those are two great players as well, have to mention that. But it is time for our last commercial break of the night. But stick with us for our final roars. You won't want to miss it.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
Have you ever helped a fellow veteran?
Of course.
Yes.
Have you ever asked for help yourself?
It's always tough, right?
I always feel like I can solve my own problems, but eventually, you just can't deal with it on your own.
And you start to question, maybe people would be better off without me. When you realize that you're not alone, once you take that first step, there's so much support.
Owen, when you came into my life, it was a whirlwind.
I just can't do it.
We didn't know what the future would hold, but we knew you would always be a part of it. Adopting you was the best decision in our life. And I am so proud to call you my son.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.com.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. It's time for our final roars. I'll start us off. When you think of incredible coaches, who comes to mind? If you were from New England, you would probably say Bill Belichick. If you are a college football fan, I could guarantee you'd say Nick Saban. But what would someone who attends Quinnipiac say? They'd probably say Rand Pecknold, but I would say women's soccer head coach Dave Clark. What Coach Clark has done not only for the women's soccer program here at Quinnipiac, but for the Connecticut soccer community and soccer across the nation is unprecedented. He has spent the last 25 years building and constructing one of the most successful sports programs at Quinnipiac. He spends his offseason meticulously recruiting and finding the future of the women's soccer team, while also developing Connecticut's next generation of soccer talent through the Connecticut Football Club ECNL program, who have won 14 state championships with Clark at the helm. And I can't forget to mention that Clark is a licensed instructor through the U.S. Soccer Federation and has taught for the Olympic Development Program. Dave Clark has always referred to himself as an educator not only on the pitch, but in life as well. He makes sure his players at Quinnipiac learn on and off the field. Clark always finds time to take his team to historic sites to teach them important parts of U.S. and world history, something you may not expect out of a coach. It's fair to say that Dave Clark is something special for Quinnipiac athletics and the sport of soccer. I hope you will all remember to think of him when asked to name an incredible coach.
While the M&T Bank Arena is often a sea of navy and gold on the ice, the same cannot always be said for the court. Quinnipiac women's basketball has had steady success in the Trish Faber era, but men's basketball was left searching for answers after the departure of Baker Dunleavy. Those answers were seemingly found when athletic director Greg Amodio promoted then assistant coach Tom Pecora. Pecora didn't even have an on-court position on the Bobcats coaching staff at the time. Since his promotion, the Bobcats stock has not only skyrocketed on the court, but in the recruiting rankings as well. Pecora's first 2 full-year recruiting classes have had Quinnipiac landing its number 2 and 13 recruits all time in Jaden Reed and Grant Randall. In the NIL and transfer portal era, landing high school recruits does not always lead to success, but Pecora has also shown the ability to land big-time impact transfers as well. Presumptive MAC preseason player of the year Amari Monroe came to the Bobcats from Wofford College and immediately proved his worth. With success on the recruiting trail and the ability to pitch playing at the bank to new faces, the men's basketball program stock is one to watch out for.
4 years, 61 games. The match begins and you're on the sideline, each game waiting for your moment. That is the story of Gwen Hoyt. In her time here at Quinnipiac, Hoyt appeared in 5 games but never started one in the net. Last Tuesday, Hoyt finally got the call that she would be starting versus LIU the next day. She would immediately call her best friend, her father, to break the news, and he would catch the first flight out of Chicago Wednesday morning. Hoyt would shut out the Sharks in a 3-0 win for the Bobcats. Throughout these past 4 years, Hoyt has continued to work each and every day despite not starting. I believe we should all take a page out of Hoyt's book and apply it to our daily lives. Things might not always be the way we'd like them to be, or we might question what we are doing. But at the end of the day, we should be grateful for the opportunity to be doing something we love in the first place. And if you're on the opposite end of the spectrum and you wish to be doing something else, continue to push, because one day you just might get to start.
That's all the time we have this evening on Bobcat Breakdown. Thank you to our viewers who tuned in, and a special thank you to all the producers and staff working hard behind the scenes. Make sure to stay up to date on Quinnipiac Sports and all of our content by following us on Instagram and X at Q30 Sports and by visiting Q30TV.com for more. For Becca Calkins and Brady Mullen, I'm Zach Taranko saying thank you for watching and have a wonderful night, Bobcats.